Hello and welcome to Espresso ADHD Coaching. Look, you're probably here because you're feeling overwhelmed, you're ADHD or undiagnosed or diagnosed. Maybe your 16-year-old son just had a diagnosis or daughter and you're like, hey, that's me. Feeling stuck, feeling overwhelmed, just not getting stuff done, and you've got these dreams, you've got these goals, but you're just day after day, month after month, you're just not getting around to moving them forward. Well, in that case, you want to be trying something very different. We're not for everyone, but if you don't relate to anything that I've just said, please turn this video off. If you do, and you're struggling with procrastination, you are unable to follow through on normal weekly coaching sessions, then have a listen to a quick 1-minute story I'll tell you about our first ever Espresso micro coaching client. I was having coached people since 2005, hundreds of different clients, nearly 900. I struggled with a particular client called Joe in 2019, and Joe, he was really inspired by the normal coaching sessions. It would be half an hour a week, every week. Come back the next week, he hadn't taken action from the week before. So I essentially said to him, okay, look, I've tried everything. I've pulled from this, that, NLP, Tony Robbins, CBT, all these different areas where my background was in coaching and in therapy and all sorts of different things. So MA in psychotherapy and stuff like that. So I just said to him, you know what, I've got to catch you each day before you go off track, because what was turning out to be was he was going off track in between the weekly sessions. So I said, you know what, I'm going to give you a 4-minute daily coaching call, micro coaching. I'm going to take the best of pure coaching and put it in a very special way for your, I didn't even know at that time that he specifically had ADHD. He didn't even have an ADHD diagnosis, but once there was success with Joe, he ended up taking 12 times more action than ever before. We thought it was a fluke at the beginning, so we kept going and he kept knocking things down and achieving more sales. He was running his own business, by the way, and he was a founder who was getting disillusioned by not having the impact that he wanted. And then I shared it with a bunch of people over the next year, about 30 different people. They tried it out. The people who got the most from it, ironically, were people with ADHD or self-diagnosed ADHD, people who normally don't stick with things. And so we shared it out trained up a whole bunch of incredible coaches back in 2020, and we are now serving people in 31 countries. We got a 4.9 star Trustpilot, excellent. I hope it's still 4.9 star by the time you see this, but like, even if it's moving between 4.7 and 4.9, that's still amazing, right? Where the feedback has been, this is a game changer, this is the missing piece of the puzzle, where have you been all my life? We had a 77-year-old saying he wished he had started this like 50 years ago. I said, we weren't around 50 years ago. People saying, hey, I wish I'd started this 10 years ago. Really it's about bringing out you 3.0. You know who you 3.0 is. It's the person, the guy, the girl, the woman, the man who gets more done in 2 hours than most people do in 2 days, but they are like a wizard. You 3.0 is like a wizard. You know, you're here one day, and that wizard suddenly disappears for 3 weeks, and it's like, gosh, if I could just get that wizard turning up each and every day, the compound effect of that would be this exponential difference in my life. And that's what we create for you. We create the perfect environment for you 3.0 to turn up each and every day so that you get that compound effect, hockey stick difference in your life. And it happens because you've got this accountability with this compassionate, expert ADHD coach there for you each and every day. Supportive, powerful, read the reviews on Trustpilot, it's incredible stuff. But also there's a second part of each Espresso coaching call, which is in that daily micro coaching call, the coach is an expert at switching on your prefrontal cortex. That's the part of the genius ADHD mind, which is dimmed down, the executive level thinking. If we can just switch that on for you, then your genius legacy will impact the world. The way that your coach does that is by well, simplest way of explaining it is every single day since you were 2 years old, you faced the world and the world faced you. And one of two things happened. Either you influenced the world, which felt great, but more often for most people, the world influences you and you don't feel great. You feel that horrible feeling at the end of the day, like, oh, I just haven't achieved what I really want to achieve. And that happens when you get stuck in, YouTube doom scrolling or TikTok or whatever it is. In those cases, that's someone else's agenda affecting you. The reason is because that person was more clear about what they wanted from your life than you were. So here's the rule. Whoever is most clear will always influence the one who's least clear. So our job as your sidekick, your espresso coach Daily's job as your sidekick is to make sure you, the superhero, are in a supreme state of clarity, not just once a year, January 1st, or once a month, or even once a week, but every single day, so that you influence the world instead of the world influencing you. And as a result, you end up influencing your mind, your body, your company, your academics, the world, like relationships. People take their relationships, the intimate relationship, from 3 out of 10 to a 7, 8, 9 plus, because they're bringing consistency finally into their life. They're bringing the consistency of making the sales calls or creating the systems in their business that are taking their business to a scalable level. Incredible things. We have some incredible stories, people doing incredible projects all over the world. A fantastic person in United States creating a village for people with Alzheimer's. People who've launched their businesses, grown their businesses. Is insane stuff happening with this system. And all because that element of consistency that you've yearned for in your life that just hasn't been there is suddenly there. And you're a human driven person, you're a people driven person. You raise your game not for a reminder which you'd normally bat away, electronic reminders on your phone. You're the type of person who raises their game when there's someone else there to interact with. But perhaps you were working corporate and now you're working for yourself and you just can't bring that out in yourself. Whatever the reason is, could be some more working from home than usual. That was a killer for so many people in the ADHD tribe. But this has been the solution, the missing piece of the puzzle. If it all sounds good, if it feels right, then click on booking a strategy call for yourself. It's a free strategy call. On that call, it might even be myself, working with you directly before then connecting you with an espresso coach. And we'll explore the package, make sure that it works for you. We'll even do some coaching for you on the call and get you aligned with your goals, get you already set on the way to those goals. And incredible things start happening. We call it the game changer session. You can't change your life in one click, but you can change the entire direction of your life in one click. So please do click on that strategy call. That button, usually red, should be there or there or there or there, or just wherever it is. These things move about sometimes. What doesn't move about is our commitment and love and care for clients. Every single one of our coaches is handpicked, not just because of their skills, not just because of their incredible talent, but also because of their enormous compassion for our expressees, for you. Because it doesn't help to beat yourself up when you're not keeping your routine or this, that, and the other. What really helps is that you have that self-compassion and that you really feel that your coach genuinely cares about you. You'll feel that instantly with our coaches. They're absolutely wonderful people and they're here by your side each and every day. Tried and tested system. In 31 countries, you're not a guinea pig here. This has been tried out by so many people and it's been the missing piece of the puzzle for, if you've related to Joe, the first espresso client, or most of what I've said until now, then this is for you. This is highly likely going to be the missing piece of the puzzle. Click now before the procrastination comes in and says, yeah, I'll come back to it tomorrow or do it another day. If you're still here listening to me, it's already working on you. Hey, yeah, just like feel it out, maybe just, wander back to it in a few weeks' time and that kind of thing. But you know what? Best way is to just say, look, it takes 30 seconds to just click, put my name in, get booked in, and get that direction set for the rest of your life. Because 90% of what we do is going off track. It's subconscious. You know, when you're driving down the motorway and you suddenly realize, oh my goodness, I've been driving all this time. Well, actually, you know, what we need to do in that 5% of intention is not just take an action. An action is great, but it's nothing compared to an asset action. When you click that button and get that strategy call booked in for you, you're creating an asset action. What's an asset action? An asset action is an action that, let me explain to you. Can you think of something you did 10 years ago that you're like, oh my goodness, thank goodness I met that person, went to that interview, went to that exhibition, sent that email, because if I hadn't met that person in my personal or professional life, you know, I wouldn't have had all these thousands of positive dividends come out of that since, in terms of happiness, in terms of finance, whatever it was. This is an asset action. You click that button, you set up that strategy call, you go for the package, and you start with espresso. It's month by month rolling. You can cancel the next month anytime in the previous month. It's either the missing piece of the puzzle for you, or we literally want you to cancel the next month anytime in the previous month. We're not interested in these 12-month lock-ins and 3-month lock-ins that some coaching programs or courses do. Waste of time. If we are not perfect for you, we want you to go elsewhere, but please try us once. If this sounds different from anything else you've done before, if you've never had daily micro coaching before, then this is a no-brainer for you. Click on that call, book it in, set up a system that's going to support that other 95% of you, so that you're finally, if you feel like, oh, I've only been giving 5% my entire life, or most of my entire life, apart from a few glimmers of you 3.0, then this is your opportunity to bring the other take the other 95% back from the shelf, back from the table, and live you 100%. Take that action now, click on that strategy call, and let's do this together.